We will have the David Martinez goals, but
Oh
what's up,
man, we're
Pessoal?
live.
What's up,
Oh, hot
everybody?
mic
We are
moment.
live here, and Eric's already cutting me off. This is gonna go well. It's a Friday show. Let's go. I got my Dodger gear. I'm about to go to Dodger Stadium. Shohei Ohtani bobblehead night. But first, we're gonna be talking about LAFC. Two massive topics, of course. The insane beatdown over Cruz Azul. We'll just review that briefly. Of course, we'll have our full show Monday reviewing everything and getting ready for the second leg. And also, guess what? We have an MLS game to play this weekend, Eric. The conference just wrapped up. We had Schaffelberg and Rollins Head talking. But first, as usual, our friends from Fugazi. What's going on, everybody? Eric, thank you so much for doing this with me on a Friday. Very good to see you, my man. I'll go straight to you, buddy. What a beatdown this Cruz Azul team, like we were not expecting. I expected a very tight game. They're going to park the bus, and LAFC, led by David Martinez, did what he did. Go, buddy. What did you see? How are you feeling?
I mean, man, I'm on cloud nine. I think every LAFC fan that watched that game, there's absolutely no way you can be upset. Anybody can be reasonably upset if they're not just completely trolling like that. This is the first half of a statement victory. You know, we close out this last 90 minutes here down in Mexico. This is a statement victory for Marc dos Santos, and it's a statement victory for the 2026 LAFC Black and Gold. I mean, Cruz Azul is the defending champion. It's a big team. Also, massive props for Marc dos Santos in having the team prepared for what they needed to do. I thought this alone was a far stretch of what I'd seen under Dolo Ball and Bob Bradley Ball, which was, one of the big reasons we hated that is they just didn't go into the big games prepared. But this was an LAFC team that went into this game prepared, ready to go. They were there mentally, they were there tactically, and they barnstormed it to a 3-0 victory, held the clean sheet. I mean, man, this team, if you don't fall in love with this team now, you have no heart.
You don't. And like before the break, and it was a break for me. I went to Florida, spent time with my family. But before all of this, the conversation was Sonny and Boanga are not producing, right? Remember that? It was only like a week and a half ago. And now I'm seeing headlines, Son Heung-min is having the season of a lifetime, and I think a lot has to do with this new role of playing the de facto 10 for LAFC, playing centrally, being the ball distributor, the guy that knows how to do that last pass. Isn't he the main player still for LAFC and the reason why we're still basically undefeated this season?
I think, and Son Heung-min has a huge part of this, so yes. I don't in any way mean diminish what I'm about to say. But we have a team effort going on, and we have team victories, and we have guys who are fighting for each other. I think you take one of those guys out of the lineup, and the whole rest of the group still steps up, and they do what they have to do. When Son is getting bottled up all game, and he ends up having to be a decoy for other guys to get room, Sonny does this happily and is there cheering for the team. Like, this is a team effort right here, and it's true, like, the bigger the player you are, the bigger the microscope is, and there's a whole industry with people talking shit. So what Sonny can do and what anybody does in that situation is rule number one, you can't fuck with quality. And Sonny is pure quality. He's been pure quality from practice to game day. And that's where everything starts. And you have a team firing on all cylinders and looking like an absolute juggernaut right now. We're 11 games into this. This team has looked just as hungry and sharp as this for all 11 games. some big tests coming up, big test in Cruz Azul. And we're glossing over Portland, which we'll get to because we expect a completely rotated lineup for this one. But, following up on that win, what a statement.
Yeah, we just heard from Ryan Hollinshead and Jacob Schaffelberg. I just put a short actually on our channel about Schaffelberg and what he is and how I believe he's just one more piece in the big Marc dos Santos schema to become the next Canada national team coach, bro. And I was just thinking this, right? And this is kind of just something that popped in my mind this morning that I have to tell you, right? Imagine the year, right? It's 2030, wherever the next, 2030, the next World Cup. And Canada and the US are facing one another. And the head coaches are Steve Cherundolo and Marc dos Santos. I'm not saying it's not going to happen, bro. Am I crazy to think that these guys are basically on the front seat or in the driver's seat to become the next national managers, bro? Because everything I've seen from at least Marc shows me that he's the guy. And we know the history of Cherundolo. He was a winner here, and he's got the doors open at the U.S. So just entertainment here with this idea that maybe we're predicting the future of seeing two LAFC coaches coaching the two biggest national teams outside of Mexico, right, in CONCACAF.
Yeah. I mean, I think it would be very interesting. I think for Steve Cherundolo to coach the national team, as much as I kind of soured on him as the LAFC coach, I think a lot of what he does bring to the table translates much better into international football than it does into club football. With club football, you have all the time to drill with the guys, work on really advanced, elaborate concepts, have 4 different dishes cooking on the stove on different heats and still manage it all so they're done at the right time. National team, you kind of just have guys thrown in at you every once in a while. You have them for a week and a half, 2 weeks, and then they're gone, and you see them 4 times a year. I think with Cherundolo and his style, kind of the counter-pressing, counter-attacking, it's something that the U.S. national team, when it comes to big international tournaments like World Cup, when we are minnows, it's a style that does better when you're against an overpowered opponent that's going to hold possession on you. It kind of is good sound counter-attacking football. When it comes to the CONCACAF rounds, the Gold Cup, the things like that, when we're the big side, I think it doesn't translate as well, and you tend to punch down to your opponent. But in the World Cup role, I think Cherundolo would be a great coach. In the off-World Cup years, I think people wouldn't be as happy with him. Now,
yeah, I think Marc, and please comment on this. I think Marc has an easier path because the pool of candidates for the Canadian team is smaller. And if Jesse Marsch, finds himself at the end of the work, right, at the end of the job, I feel like he can just basically make the jump. Whereas Cherundolo, to me, is one job away. He needs to prove that he can do what he did at LAFC somewhere else, right? Whereas Marc kind of is a little bit more proven, right? Don't you think that he's got a little bit of an easier path, especially given what he's doing with the Canadian nationals in our team?
He should. I think one perspective to have on this is Marc dos Santos has been coaching for a lot longer than Steve Cherundolo has.
Correct.
Cherundolo came on board.
Cherundolo was a player too. Like Marc didn't really have a player career.
But Cherundolo, I believe he did 2 years with the academy, and then he did, and this is top of my head, so you feel free to fact check this later. But roughly of 2021, he took over the Vegas Lights, I believe.
Correct. Yeah, that was it. It was right after pandemic.
Yeah, and he did 2 years before that. So he's only been coaching then. Marc dos Santos, I believe, started coaching around 07 or 08.
Oh, yeah.
And I know he was in Brazil at Palmeiras. I want to say that was a 2011 season. So Marc dos Santos has been coaching for a long time. He's seen a bunch of different ways that people do it. He's kind of grinded his teeth for a long time. And so I think he's had enough time that, and you see it with how LAFC plays, that he's been able to start to drill multiple concepts into players and the team so that depending on the opponent can depend on what spaces they occupy, how they go about moving the ball, what parts of the field they attack. Whereas he can shift them gears against other teams and have them play a little more of a pragmatic style. The post-game conference, which you're going to have to give me another minute or so, which really, really impresses me on Marc dos Santos. And I am the more I watch this guy, the more I like him. And he kind of was talking about the game, how this was the hardest games for the forwards, Son and Bouanga, and that he kind of told them going into this game, he said, look, you guys, Cruz Azul, this is one of the biggest teams in Americas. This is a very good team. And when you play a very good team, you're going to have moments where you're going to suffer. And you have to, there's no other way about it against a team at this level. And we saw that the first 12, 14 minutes of the game where our team suffered. And then at the end, but they went through it. He had them ready to expect that in this big moment that they're going to have times where it's not going away. You're going to be doing a lot of chasing and not getting much for it. You just have to keep going through it. And that's something I think that in the past, other coaches haven't quite drilled into our guys like that. So all in all from this game, this is a Marc dos Santos statement piece, I think, and he's got this team firing.
It's a marquee win. He surrounded himself with really smart people, which tells you about the character of the person. It's not about me. It's about these new guys, and I'm going to try to get new ideas into the system. And you're starting to see the likes of Davi Martinez flourish and other players like Nkosi Tafari that always have a ceiling in Major League Soccer being called walls by people that are watching Major League Soccer outside of our circle of knowing who these guys were before Marc dos Santos took over. I mean, look at Tafari last year against this year. It's a different player. The decision-making, the positioning, the confidence, the way that he conducts himself, everything about the guy tells me he's being better coached. And again, I'm not saying this as a knock to Cherundolo, but really as an ode to Marc, a guy that, again, some people out there still believe that he's not going to be successful, right? And, it's still one of those championship or bust mentalities which, again, like at some point you got to understand it's up to the players to score some goals. Like coaches are there to put them in the best position to do so, and execution takes over. And I do believe we're doing that, Eric. And we have a great chance to once again go past this team and go after Toluca or maybe the Galaxy. They got beat down 4-2 in Mexico.
Two surprised all of us. We all got surprised by those two.
Right, but look, man, and it makes it possible. And the last thing I'll ask you, right, like we should not discount Cruz Azul for the second leg. And I know We're going to talk a lot more about this on Monday. We do not have to go into depth about this, but it is a meaningless difference. We have half a game to play, and that game can be very much the same as it was here. How are you feeling for the second leg?
I feel good with the second leg, and with past as precedent with MLS and Champions League, playing in Mexico can be a house of horrors. A 3-goal lead going down to Mexico is nothing. Like this has been overturned many times. We saw that was that Tigres in Vancouver, where Tigres overcame a 3-goal deficit to come back to win the game. This happens. The atmosphere down there is very intimidating for our players. It's very intense, and they have to be ready for it. Now, that said, I believe that our coaching staff now has been down there enough times and seen it, as have some of our players, that I think they're going to harden themselves up for what they're going to go up against, and they're going to go down there to take care of business. I also think that the way this game will be played works in our favor. If we can, I think we prefer to still counterattack and counter press and win the ball in transition, which you do when you don't have the ball. One thing, our forwards are very fast. Liga MX does not have the speed of the forwards that MLS has. That's one of the differences that appearing to me in the league, and it's something that we can exploit, and this matchup should exploit for us. But we can't give away cheap goals, and we haven't done that all season. So I think it will be an outlier if we don't come up hard.
We did against Alajuelense. It was a bit, there were two big shots from outside the box that kind of put us in a tough position. But
there were
the key to these games, golazos, low probability shots. Maybe a younger goalkeeper could have grabbed them or not. But I get it. The problem would be if we get scored within the first 25 minutes of the game, that place will go crazy. All the momentum we had at home just goes to zero, and suddenly we're the most fragile team there is. And if suddenly it's 2-0, all bets are lost, all bets are open, and we just don't know what's going to happen, right? So it's very tricky to win continental games. I am predicting Cruz Azul to really come down and beat us up, but stay tuned for our full show about this game, right? after the Portland match, which is going to be this weekend. So we'll make the transition. Hopefully we can bring Ivan back because he had some good points, and I think it would be good to explore how he's feeling going into this second game. The game will not be played in Mexico City. It will be played in Puebla, which is about a 2-hour drive in a smaller state. And that should give us some advantage given that we don't have to go to Azteca. But bro, like, yeah, in the middle of this big game we have next week, we have an MLS game to talk about. As I said, the Friday press conference just wrapped up with Scheffelberg and Hollinshead speaking. I did not attend, of course, but tell me about this. How are you feeling about Portland? Is this where we see our first loss, given that we shouldn't be playing too many of our guys, or LAFC keeps rolling?
We should expect a loss. We should expect the shutout streak to end. And caring about the streak at this point with such a big game on Tuesday is fine. You know, we don't need to care about this game. Like, the number one trophy is the Continental title, which we are going for. That's said and done. You know, it will be fantastic if we can get a 1-point draw out of this game. One thing I think a lot of us were speculating, especially as the scoreline was unfolding, and even if the scoreline didn't unfold, is this is going to be a rotation game, and this is a game where our best 11, probably even up to our best 13, I would even almost want to throw like Ordaz into that, and probably Chonier. Is that we want to rest our guys who are good and have to put in meaningful minutes because it's going to be a heated game on Tuesday. Let them stay home and rest. Don't even put them on the plane and send them 2.5 hours north of Portland and 2.5 hours back and make them drive to their house. Just hopefully have them show up at the training facility tomorrow and put in some good practice together while the other team plays their game. That's what I want
Eric,
to see.
Before you go forward with that, every single show that we talk about rotation, we ask for that very thing, and it doesn't happen. So while I appreciate you saying it, you and I know that that's just not what AFC is. We're going to try to put our best 11 there somehow, somewhere.
See. Celso, I'm not sure.
I don't know, man, because like you have such a massive advantage. They could very well be taking a plane directly from Portland. Just okay. Keep fixing your stuff. But they could be very well doing the same thing where it's like, you know what, let's not even go to LA. Let's just go straight down to Mexico right after that. And, you know, you guys put your shift in, which is usually a 30-minute shift. But a guy like Denis Bouanga will not want to just sit, especially in a place like Portland where he's dominated in the past. And, you know, he's got the engine to keep going. And, again, some of these guys, yes, there's going to be rotation because we're so deep. But the main pieces tend to play at least their shift. So I'm curious to know who's going to play and what not. I'm just saying I agree with you 100%, just playing devil's advocate here, that no matter what, these guys need a little bit of minutes. And then there's the trip all the way to Mexico, which you can do right away. So just saying it could happen. We don't know. Just going to go straight to the Orlando City lineup, which was basically a week ago. So give us a sense of what could and could not happen for this away game. And let's just be honest, like this is after 3 games, Eric. So first, Lloris on goal. Palencia and Hollinshead were the fullbacks with Portillos and Tafari on defense. So they didn't really do anything on defensive side there. But in the midfield, we had Tillman or Das playing the midfield position, which was different than Delgado on the right. I think it was more like a 6 pivot with Ordaz playing in the middle as an 8. And then on the right side, Tyler Boyd, Denis Bouanga, and Song Heung-min. Again, most of the players played, bro. And like we had a Bobisi come in, Scheffelberg came in, Raposo came in. Tell me, bro, who's going to play?
None of those guys. Number one with this game. So here's what I see. I'm going to put this into context for you. I'm also not sold that they're not going to be that guys aren't sitting home on this trip.
Okay.
Congratulations to Denis Bouanga. They just welcomed.
Oh, that's true. He had a baby, so he's got a good reason.
Little Elia 2 days ago into this world, growing his family even more. Mm-hmm. I think Bouanga doesn't get on that plane to go to Portland. I think Son doesn't get on that plane to go to Portland. I think most of our guys starting in this game do not go up on that plane to Portland. The reason why they played before is, 1, it was at home, just like the game there was at home, so they're sleeping in their beds every night. 2, they just got back from a 2-week international break, so they wanted to put them together for 45 minutes to kind of get that muscle memory going before they took them out to get them ready for the Cruz Azul game. So
Mhm.
this is why it's not different. They're going up to Portland. Portland is played on artificial turf. For those of you who don't know, it's a turf stadium. All the other reasons
It's a horrible turf stadium.
Yeah, it's not even a good turf stadium. Another reason to leave them home. When we're talking about lineups, I will shout out to JP Marquez, because I'm basically just going to tell you his lineup, which I 100% wouldn't change a thing. We're going to go with Ebobisse up front. We're going to go with Matt Evans up front, Schaffelberg and Boyd, Beaudry and Terry, and then we're going to go Artem Smolyakov, Ryan Hollingshead, Kenny Nielsen, Ryan Raposo, Thomas Hasal in goal. And that's it. We have a fully rotated squad. And I think Ordaz isn't even in this lineup. I think Ordaz should stay home as well. I think Schaffelberg and Boyd will probably play for 45 minutes and get pulled to have them as backups for the next game, possibly Hollingshead as well. Whoever's going to play off the bench down there in this game is going to come off at halftime as we completely focus for that game. Whether we win or lose, it doesn't matter. If a draw is going to feel like 3 points for this game, we don't care.
So I just looked at Portland Timbers, and they're basically bottom of the barrel, bro. It's one of the worst teams in Major League Soccer, and I think it would be a little bit of a disservice given how much depth we have not to utilize guys like Eddie Segura and Chornier, which is hungry for minutes. Even Nate the Great Ordaz, David Martinez still want to play. And I know you're risking injury. There's always the risk of injury. I understand it. But at the same time, these guys are pros. They're paid to play twice a week. 3 days is plenty of rest for a footballer, as you know. And I believe that we're going to see a mixed lineup. I appreciate the comments from both of you, but they come from a place of fans. Guys that do not know our coaching staff enough. And you know these guys want to win every game, brother. And Portland is dead in the water. They're horrible this year, bro. They're horrible.
Oh, this arrogance makes me want to throw up right now. This is arrogance.
It's not arrogance. You just know that
you
these guys want to play
treat Cruz Azul with more respect than this. What are we doing here? We are chasing that Continental Cup. You treat the defending champs with respect. You rest everybody going there. Portland, our scrubs can get a draw in Portland. You roll those dice.
I love it, and I think we should certainly re-air this after the Saturday lineup, and really kind of see what the decision is, and not because who's right or who's wrong, but to see where the coach's mindset is and how important they believe resting guys were. And I agree with you. Bouanga should stay home. He's got a personal matter. And, fake an injury, Sonny, and just stay home as well. And, go see your mirror. Yeah, some shit like that, right?
I don't even
still beat him, though, bro. Come on, give Schaffelberg 90 minutes.
There's an extra. It's not have them just stay home. Have them stay home. And on that game day, they go to the practice facility.
All day.
They go to a practice facility and they start doing some
strategy.
They start prepping and strategy. That's it. You're starting your top 11. They sit there, they watch film, and they go study, and they get ready for this game.
And stay away from that.
They're not taking the
carpet.
By no means
your knees away.
By no means should they take the day off at all. I'm not saying that.
Okay. All right. No, I'm with you. I'm into, I'm an NBA fan. So the first thing I think is load management. The guys high-fiving each other in street clothes. I hate that shit. I think if you're healthy, you should play. I think these guys are paid to play. And, if you take care of your body, you don't have to go 100%. Fatalities happen, but it could happen within 2 minutes of the Cruz Azul game because they didn't suit up for a week. So we never know. We never know how bodies react. And I have all the faith in our LAFC staff that they're going to be ready for Tuesday, brother. They're going to be ready. They're going to be ready. But I do believe it's going to be a nasty game to watch. And we're going to be if you have nails and if you don't chew them, you're going to start chewing them then. Okay, Portland, as I told you, one win, fella over there is about to fall. The coach forgot. Yeah, Neville, he's really struggling and the team has not found itself. And it looks like a team that is sort of getting ready to transition out. So tell me a little bit about how you think the game is going to go. I do believe we see a mixed lineup. And, if anything, Jude Terry, please let Jude Terry play some minutes. We talked about how important it is for these young guys to get some minutes. Evans, same thing, amazing player. But, what do you think this game is like? And what are your predictions for the score? You told us that we're going to lose, but what's the score?
I think we're going to lose this one 3-1. And but I think that our reserves are going to go up there and they're going to scrap. They're going to put in a goal.
Damn.
And they're going to show us. Some of them are going to show us why it's going to be exciting to watch them continue to develop.
Okay. All right. 3-1 is a good score. All right. I'm going to be optimistic here and, kind of also with my narrative that some of these guys are going to play and we're going to have a competitive squad. But it might be a super boring game, kind of like the one at Austin where we're just killing time, really just trying to play anti-football. So if you're better, I would bet the under because I don't see 4 goals out of this game. I really don't see motivation from any other sides. And I don't see us leaking 3 goals, no matter who plays down there. But, I can call it a 1-1, something that where they come up front and we get a scrappy goal at the end, maybe one of the young guys. So a 1-1 goal, go ahead and bet the tie if you want. Go ahead and bet the under if you want. Or go ahead and bet LAFC, just shin the bet, as Erik said. A very true possibility given how hard it is to play MLS away with travel. Something else on your mind, right? And rotate a squad. It is not easy no matter who you're going up against.
I think the goal that comes in this game is going to come from Ebobisse. I think Ebobisse is going to be the goal scorer in this one. So.
Or as I would like to say once, Ebobisse. I'm just kidding. Ebobisse is the man.
He's a good target man. And I think
target man
with the young lineup, especially with Schaffelberg, we're going to see some quality crosses coming in there. If Artem and Schaffelberg is in there, we're going to see a lot of quality crosses coming into there. And I think if you're gonna put up on a goal scorer like Ebobisse is my guy.
Yeah, Artem is still kind of to me the odd man out. We don't see where he's going to end up, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Continue to develop him. We see what happens when you keep 2 players, right? Look at David Martinez 2 years ago. We were getting ready to basically say he sucks. He's done. We don't need him. And he's one of our best players right now. Some Galaxy fans putting him above Gabriel Peck, but first of all, it's absurd. It's absurd.
MDS.
But it's starting to form a narrative. And I will give you all that.
MDS in his presser had a great quote on this as well, and I'm gonna post the YouTube presser from LAFC in the comments. But he talked about David, and you can just tell that he's on David all the time. And he made a quote to him basically. I was just like, you just have like one thing that you need to get better at, and if you get better at that, you're gonna make millions at this, and. So with him, you can tell he's on him. He's like, you have everything to take that jump, but you're just, there's one thing. I'm sure it's mentally or something that he's not making that jump. So it's interesting to watch that relationship. And you can tell MDS is just like, it almost seems like Martinez is a bit of a project, but look at the production.
He's very young.
Oh yeah.
He's unpolished. He's got that kind of like, don't piss me off attitude. His decision-making at times have been criticized, but guess what? He's producing more than Stipe Buke ever produced. And he's a diamond in the rough, man.
He's
La
a
Jolla,
baller,
but
man.
To me, La Jolla also means he's unpolished. And then we have to make him into a beautiful piece of jewelry, right? A big diamond is very ugly by itself. It's not necessarily beautiful. You have to put some metal around it. You have to polish it, and you have to make it into a beautiful piece of jewelry. By the way, I just went to the jewelry district, so I have the shit fresh in my mind. I've seen a lot of jewelry the last few days, but you see
those 2 goals from Martinez were some of the most savage goals I have ever seen, and they came one after the other, like insane grit that he did. He just dug deep and he just took those goals. And I will say, who is the last young LAFC prospect to score a goal at Cruz Azul in the Champions League?
At Cruz Azul?
Oh yeah.
I mean, I don't even remember the last time. I don't even remember the last time we played them. So you have more knowledge
Opoku,
of this.
Mr. Opoku himself.
Mahala.
He scored that banger on Cruz Azul, and that's what melted our hearts back in the day.
Shout out to Mahala, man. We gotta get. Oh, I remember that was like a 1-0 really tight game, and he just got us through. I don't remember this shit.
Oh yeah, he scored off the bench. It was just like
it was crazy. It was so tight. Yep. Mahalo Poke. Shout out to him. Maybe we'll get him on the show one day, man. I feel like it's just beat down lying over there in Montreal. I have no idea where he is.
All you have been following us for years. You all know the Opoku goat story. We love
All right,
Buggy.
man. 30 minutes. Here we go. We're going to air this at 5 p.m. today. I already dropped it on the Twitter. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please subscribe. It really helps us out. We're about 400 subscribers right now. Again, it's not about the numbers, but it's about reaching the LAFC community. We're the most punk rock show, as I was telling
it's about
Eric.
the numbers. Give us the numbers.
Yes, but I really fucking like the numbers
Thumbs
when
up.
they hit. And I really appreciate you guys. Shout out to the Fugazi dudes that let us use some of their music. It's an unbelievable band, has a lot of history in the city of Los Angeles. And for some of us, it's what it's all about. The punk rock, anarchy, lack of government, all this shit. That's what it is all about, my guy. So we'll see you on Monday. And I mean, enjoy the game this weekend. I might not watch it because I don't even want to watch what's going to happen. But now I got to figure out if we're going to have the lineup that I thought about or the one that Eric thought about. Thank you very much. We'll see you on Monday.